Hey there, and welcome to Virtual Saturdays at the Henning Cultural Center and Brimstone Museum of Sulphur, Louisiana, in partnership with Ms. Zainer Delafosse and sponsored by Cameron L&G. We hope you have a pencil, because away we go.
Hi you guys, this is Ms. Zainer Delafosse, and today we're going to be working with mountain landscapes. For this project, you're going to need a few supplies. You're going to need a pencil, a Sharpie, some watercolors, a cup of water, a napkin, and painting paper. Alrighty, so our first step is we're going to use our pencil. And with our pencil, we are going to first create our mountains. We're going to create the top of our mountain just by making some points. I like to think of them as weird looking M's. Not all of your mountains have to be the same size. I did a bunch of different sizes for mine. Now we're going to take our pencil, touch it to the top of our point, and we're just going to have a straight line coming down. Now that straight line coming down isn't going to the bottom of our page, just to the bottom of our mountain that we made. Next, we want to think about where our shadow is going to be on our mountain. It can be to the left or to the right of that line we placed down the middle. Mine's is going to be on the right. So I'm going to touch my pencil from the middle line and I'm going to bring it all the way to the side of my mountain. Once you finish that step, we're now ready to draw diagonal lines inside our shadow area. Take your time. We really want to make sure that our lines are not too close together. We want them to be nicely spaced out. Next, maybe your mountain had a glacier coming out of it. I don't know about yours, but that's what happened to me. So I'm drawing a little hole in my mountain. Next, we're ready to draw our trees. We're going to make a straight line coming up from the bottom of our paper. And then now we're going to make horizontal lines to show the body of our tree. And I'm just making horizontal lines right next to each other. My horizontal lines, they're going from very big at the bottom, and as I get further to the top of my tree, they're becoming a lot smaller. Once we're finished doing all of our drawing with our pencil, we are ready to start outlining. You want to go over every single line you've drawn so far with a Sharpie. Take your time. We want to make sure that we are going over all the lines correctly. If you accidentally don't go over a line that was made, that is okay. We're going to fix it later on in the video. Also, if you need a little bit of extra time, feel free to pause the video. Next, we are going to erase all those pencil lines that we did not go over with our Sharpie, just so that way our painting looks nice and neat for us to paint. Let's paint! Alrighty, with these watercolors, boys and girls, please make sure that you are putting enough water onto the color you want. And then we are painting our sky first. If you have a lot of paint that is already on your paper, then all you have to do is just dab your paintbrush into the water, and you should be able to move the paint along the paper that way as well. Now, I don't want to paint my mountains. I want them to stay white. However, if you want to paint your mountains, once you are finished with the sky, you are more than welcome to paint your mountains. I'm going to use a few different colors for my sky because I think a sky looks really cool with multiple colors. But maybe you just want to paint yours one color. It is completely up to you. Be as creative as you would like. While you guys are painting, I think it would be a perfect time for us to have a history break.
Hi, my name is Tom Trahan. I'm the director of the Brimstone Museum and Henning Cultural Center Complex. I hope you're enjoying your art project so far, but for a minute I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the history of our town and the mineral known as sulfur. Sulfur is a yellow mineral that's found around the world. It's used to make things like sulfuric acid, medicine, gunpowder, and lots of other things. Our city is named after this mineral because it was found here in large quantities and mined back in the 1890s to the 1920s. In 1860, several companies were searching for oil along the Gulf Coast, and in our area they found some oil in what's known as a sulfur dome or a salt dome. The sulfur had corrupted the oil supply, however, and it was unusable for the oil companies, so they sold the land to sulfur mining companies. These companies attempted to use traditional shaft mining to get the sulfur out of the ground, but it proved to be too dangerous. After several incidents and accidents, a man named Hermann Frasch heard about their problem from up in New York City. He was a German chemist and had an idea for how to extract sulfur from the ground without having to dig a mine shaft down to it. It was known as the Frasch mining method. This method would allow them to pump water down into the sulfur deposit, melt the sulfur under the ground, and pump liquid sulfur back up to the surface. You can see this process occurring in these illustrations here, this picture here. That you can see the liquid sulfur pouring out of these pipes and forming on top of the surface in these giant blocks that they called bins. This method was used all the way through the 1920s until the sulfur supply was extracted completely. Well, I think that's enough history for one lesson. I think it'd be fun for you guys to go back to your art project, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.
It is now time for us to peel off the tape that is on the edge of our painting. Make sure you are taking your time and you're pulling your tape off very, very carefully. We do not want to take any of our paper off with the tape. And here is my piece. Now, since my mountains are white, I do have to add a little bit of a line to the edge of my picture just because I don't want my mountains to look like my border. And there's the final piece. See you next time!